Welcome to the Yamaha Motif XS. Anyway, you have an ES. Basically, if you have an ES, you are very familiar with the architecture of this keyboard. I'll highlight some of the biggest differences. The ES, 175 megs of waveform, right? XS, 355 megs waveform. So they have updated the entire sound engine. There's a lot of similar sounds that come from the ES, but they've been totally reworked. It's a totally new effects processing system. It's the same with the ES. You have 8 insert effects. Obviously, the screen is the biggest new addition, which is nice, big color. A lot of the effects have actually been visualized, kind of like plugins. So when you pull them up, you can actually see what you're doing. It's pretty cool. Also, another huge addition is they added 4 more knobs and 4 more sliders. So instead of 4, like on the ES, which is cool, you learn to work with it, you have 8 whole slider circles. So when you're mixing, obviously, you can see it's a huge advantage. It's 8 knobs instead of 4. Another thing is this thing has 4 arpeggiators now instead of 1. So one of the biggest advantages to that is that you can have a performance, you can have an arpeggiation for each part in the performance. So basically, if I pull up something like then you've got different harp settings. Performance control, you can mute parts over here. You can turn the ARPs on and off, which is definitely different from the ES. And of course you have access to those parts over here as well. And they have made the interface, I have to say, is if you find the ES, if you've worked with the ES, it's the interface is very easy to get around on once you know how to use it, as you know. But on this, they've gone one step further, and if you've used an ES, man, I haven't even broken the manual onto this thing. It's like everything I knew about the ES transfers over to this, but it's just more visual, so you can really see what's going on. Like one thing I really like is when you go into song mode, same thing, but the layout's totally different. You can see, you've got your same old thing, track select over here, but now you just go into song, hit track 1, and you can go right into category search. You know what I mean? Which is just saving you an extra step, which you couldn't do on the ES. And more screen real estate means it's nicer, easier to see things, get around. You can put a gig of RAM in this thing. You can run the vocal effects processor. Oh, they added a vocoder, which is really nice, which you can apply to part 1 in the song mode or pattern mode, or on any voice mode or performance mode. You do sampling with your ES. Yeah, it's pretty easy, right? When you go into remote control mode, you have a whole remote control menu that comes up. And this comes with every XS comes with Cubase AI, which is essentially a version of Cubase 4, and they integrate seamlessly, man. Like, you know, everything works. The faders, you know, control your on-screen mixer and Cubase, transport control, all your muting and your soloing, that works. Panning, of course. You can see your meters when you engage that. You can see your level meters from whatever interface you're using. It's yeah, it's pretty slick. So yeah. Oh, and important thing to note is that you use MLAN. You got the MLAN board.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, MLAN is a very integral part of Yamaha's Motif experience because it enables you to use FireWire. 16 audio channels over one single cable. So you got your audio and your MIDI going over one cable. And the XS8 comes with the MLAN board installed already. On the 7 and the 6, it's an option, but you should know that as well.
What about expansion cards?
They did away with expansion boards, which is you know, subjective, I guess, but I shed a tear for them. Our boards were very misunderstood in the community because, you know, they were actual sound engines on a board, you know, unlike Roland or Chorus, where they're just samples. You know, Yamaha's boards actually had effects. They added their own part.
The analog board, the AN.
They added their own polyphony, you know what I mean? But they just weren't, I don't know, man. They just
weren't embraced quick enough.
They did not get embraced quick enough. And so another unfortunate thing to go is the breath controller, which nobody ever used anyway. But, you know, that's gone. So basically, no more expansion boards, okay? Their idea of expanding is, you know, you throw your gig of RAM in there, and that's how you could load new samples in if you want. Another thing to note that's interesting that they added on this is an Ethernet port, because that's how this communicates with your computer now, is via Ethernet. So when you look it up via Ethernet, your computer sees the XS as a hard drive and vice versa. So, and it's fast. You can drag and drop files back and forth. Other than that, it's got standard USB, so it can communicate that way. Yeah, I think that's about it.